Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Aries forecast for April 2013. I am astrologer David Palmer, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Wow, Aries, you guys have been through a lot, but this is your birthday time, right? I'm sure you felt that very deep and intense energy you went through in March. Really very deep, emotional, sensitive, testing, your surrender, having to go with the flow big time in your life. But the dawn did come in your life, the spring is here, the light's back out in your life. You're enjoying your birthday period. You're most importantly though, feeling like you're out of the mud. Now you were gonna finish up this mud because Mercury did a big retrograde with 6 planets all together in Pisces, all there in March. And in April, we do have Mercury coming into your sign. We do have Venus and Mars for most of the month in here. So this is really time for you to move forward. A new identity, a new self. One where your career doesn't get involved or block you from this persona. Don't be overly obsessed with your career, your goals. This is where Aries are just obsessed over, and actually they're also wanting to redefine themselves, and it's like, how can you balance these two places out? It's really hard, but Aries are finding ways of becoming a new person and letting the old career die and a new one be born. That's really the secret to this new self. And also the new mind, right? Exciting new attitude is really where all the fortune is for you in your life right now. Making sure that you're opening up to a new mind, a new attitude, really connecting with your brothers, your sisters. But most importantly, I would say it's time for you to really expand your close environment. Make sure that all parts of your environment, at work, at home, the really close spots are all in alignment with making you feel more positive. But let's go into the horoscope for the month. The first week of April really is a blast off of really turning the corner, of leaving behind old fears, especially the fears of what's been happening in your career, your legacy. I'm sure that you're ready, turning the corner now, that you're figuring out where to go. This new road is really an important one, so drive home, because most of the week, we're finishing up a big moon that came out of a full moon, and it's really coming into its three-quarter square. There's a lot actually happening as far as really getting a build-up, a build-up for you to really let go of all the past that has happened, especially in March, and really move forward in this new direction. And really, it's about confidence again. It's about making sure that you understand your needs and your wants. A big, powerful new moon on April 10th. So pay attention to the 10th. This is really where you're going to set the intention for the new self in your life and making sure that, you're moving forward in the right direction. This new moon is in a great spot for all Aries, especially if you're born in the middle of Aries, which is more towards the beginning of April. This is really a powerful time in your life to really move forward and to push forward and understand that it is the new self that is going to give you all of the new life that you want, and not being afraid to become really new. And it's really interesting because we have so much going on April 13th. Mercury comes into your sign and Pluto retrogrades. And you know what? This actually helps you out a lot. You're really going to come into a new state of mind, really start to think forward in this new persona and actually be able to communicate your needs to other people and wants, and really start to understand what's been happening in your life, I would say. Especially because you've gone through so much change since the beginning of 2013, you're going to start to understand why you went through it, why you've had to ditch so much of the past. That's because Mercury gets out of Pisces, which has spent an extended amount of time digging out the real karma of your soul, digging out the past, letting you understand why the past has come into your life as well, and how it's really trying to push you forward into this new persona. Pluto goes retrograde as well. You will feel the effect of April 13th, I guarantee you, in your life. This will also be all the work that you've been doing in your career, all the changes that you've been doing in your legacy, your destiny, as far as, putting in that obsessive amount of energy, really will start to pay off, I believe. You'll start to understand and start to see what it is doing into your life. You'll start to receive and you'll start to review. Did you make a lot of the right career choices? A lot of this is going to really show that and reveal that in your life, especially to be the right person that you want to be. All this career, destiny stuff is so important to make sure that it really is the change that helps you into this person. It is through finding the right goal, finding the right destiny, and making sure you have a a persona and a self that is willing to change with that career, you'll be fine. It's when you want to hold on to a certain title or a certain destiny you've always had and you're not willing to change, that's where all the problems have been in your life. And April 13th gives you a clear indication of maybe why that has been happening. Then on April 15th, really good news for you. Venus leaves your sign, comes into Taurus, and this is a lot of energy. Great for starting to get some money back in your life, but starting to feel your value again. You know, it's about you really starting to feel, you know what, I've made my turns in career, I've made this turns, this is my birthday, it's really time to really rocket ship 2013 from this point out. Start feeling out your values and letting go of old ones too, and stepping into a lot new value in yourself. Then of course, April 19th, the sun moves into Taurus. This is going to be, again, more to start focusing your energy on what you want to create. You know, I really see the beginning of the month into this period. Once we get into April 15th and 20th that week, you really starting to become this new person, but it's by then at the end of the month where you're really going to power through and start creating the new persona, really start feeling the worth of this new person that you've been becoming. And it is that new attitude which will really start to pay off because Jupiter is going to be going really fast. Then on top of all that, April 21st, Mars comes into Taurus. Again, we're starting to build a new build-up in Taurus, which for you means more money, more value, more possessions, more feeling of worth, as long as you've been becoming that new self. Then, April 25th, the full moon eclipse. This one is going to be very powerful in Taurus, which for you, you know, you're really going to have to pay attention because the moon will be in Scorpio, the sun will be in Taurus. This is going to highlight the problems in your life of any intimacy issues, why you haven't been getting all the stuff that you truly want, that you feel you deserve. You will know why on April 25th. I would take a look at the boundaries you've laid in your life, but most importantly, make sure that you are stepping into a new value structure and you set the right boundaries in your life to hold on to those things. You make sure that you have the right connections. Make sure that you're living in your truth and you're connecting with what you truly want to connect with. This is an excellent month for you, Aries. Make sure that you power through, that you find the new self and you hold that new value in yourself. I'm astrologer David Palmer. If you want a one-on-one reading with me, check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, or you can also book at david-palmer.com. And I hope to see you in a reading, and I hope you have a wonderful April 2013. See you next month.